And with that, we bring in the voice of hockey in Toledo, Matt Melzak. Looks like you just ran a marathon or something. Is it?
As always, the Glass City Marathon was this weekend.
Yes.
I had the weekend off, so what else do you do,
Yeah,
right?
you're in great shape.
You know, and I was planning that you were going to keep me here forever, so I wore a sweatshirt to make sure I wasn't cold.
I will not keep you here forever. It's only a half-hour show. And this segment even shorter, so congratulations.
All right, cool.
All right, okay, so let's start with it. Let's go back to Indy. It had to be the closest four-game sweep in the history of mankind.
Well, you know what? We're not really used to sweeps. We
Right.
haven't done this in quite some time. Matter of fact, you have to go back to the '06 playoffs for the
Really?
Toledo Storm, who
Wow.
swept the Johnstown Chiefs in 3 games in a 5-game, best of 5, and won the first 3. The last time that a Toledo team had a sweep in the playoffs. But yeah, it was a close series. I mean, you're talking about 2 double overtime games. Really, Game 4, just thinking back at it, watching it back a little bit, let's face it, that game should have been 7-1. If there's no Anthony Marcoux there, I mean, how good he was in Game 4, that was a domination. That was a clinic through 3 periods. And by the time we got to the second half of the third period, all of a sudden Indy was like, well, you know what? I guess we could win this game, so let's try. And it just didn't feel like that they were, not that they weren't trying before, but it just felt like they weren't 100% invested in the game. And sometimes it's hard when you're down 0-3 and you think you're going to be out. And you have to have some breaks. They nearly got them to force a game. And you look at what's going on out west with Colorado up 3-0, and they've lost the last 2 to Wichita. Allen up 3-0 to Idaho, and they've lost the last 2. So now all of a sudden those series are going back. I mean, it's crazy if you can't get that last game. And Toledo had to fight to get it, and they got it.
All right, so you mentioned Game 4, and just thinking back to that, at one point I asked Evan Rankin, who was in studio with us, was he just trying to give up? I mean, Rupert going into the box and then throwing the water bottle at the ref. I mean, and then there was a game misconduct prior to that. I mean, what happened? They were just done?
I think sometimes it's very difficult, Eric, to have that, we're down 0-3. And, the chances of you coming back from an 0-3 are so slim that it makes it hard to get into the game. And I think back to when Toledo was down 0-3 to South Carolina, and they were inches away from maybe even being up 3-0 in that series. Instead, they were down 0-3, and, it had to take a few breaks. Jared Nightingale scoring a tying goal.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, you had to get a couple of breaks there to get the game to a Game 5, and then all of a sudden you see Martin Firk goes crazy in Game 5. Next thing you know, you got a Game 6. Now all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, now we can do this. But it's all about that first game, and you could see in certain stages and certain players for Indy were certainly struggling to keep in it mentally because it's tough. They put everything they had into Game 3, and they got beat. Yeah. And they got bested by Toledo. They were getting dominated. Absolutely. Obviously, Anthony Marcoux was playing.
Oh, yes.
I mean, he was in it to try to win. I mean, because without him, that like I said, would have been a domination of a game.
Right. Okay. So now we've got a little bit of break here. I mean, we were used to playing every other night or with a night off. Now we got a little break. Good to rest up here. I mean, no rest versus rust. They need the rest here, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think it's always nice. I don't think you can ever say, oh, you know what, you'd rather keep playing. Maybe in the other sport that I do, baseball, you do kind of almost want to keep playing.
Sure.
You almost hate a sweep because you sit around too long. Whereas in hockey, I think you're so physically beat up over the course of a 72-game season. And you look at a few of those guys playing, games in the 60s and plus. And Ryan Obakowski played in every game this year and played in all 4 playoff games. So he's at 76 for the year. And you start getting a little worn down. So having a weekend off where you can just get away from the game is can be a good thing. And you get back on the ice today, you practice a couple days, quick day off, and then back at it Thursday and Friday. Get ready to go for your next series. I think Dan's taking a nice approach at it. A couple of physical practices here, get a day off in, and then let's focus in on what the next task at hand is.